Calm down. Calm down.
Is Janet from another planet? Is Janet from another planet?
Venus.
Is Janet from another planet? 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 Is Janet from another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Whatever you do, don't fart.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. And tonight,
Shit.
we have Devil Flyer. Hi, Rex. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Oh, I'm a year older. I had a birthday.
Tommy,
Fuck, they got me.
Collective. Thank you.
The sniper's on me right now. I swear I'm not Indian. God, what the fuck? It's only my third eye opening up.
Mosquito.
Hey, thank you.
Robin, thank you. Come again.
Appreciate it.
Peter. Well, thank you.
So I was going to ask all of you, how is the shutdown affecting each of you so right now? Any of you can speak out?
Right now would be a great time for a cricket sound.
Oh, I don't know if my board's not working yet. That's
Your
when
government's shut down?
got
Still?
back
I don't
up.
care. Yeah, who gives a fuck?
Nobody missed
But
it.
I don't have any sound.
Nobody cares.
Sorry.
The trouble I see.
But that's why I said shut down shit show, basically.
Yeah.
Because
Nobody cares but Jesus.
it's so stupid, all the stupid shit that's going around.
Well, from what
because-
I understand, it only affects like 17% of the government. And I say only, as time goes by, I suppose there's other things that can be affected. But, I'm sure we'll reach a resolution once Schumer, gets payoff or something.
Well, I just don't want them to
Gets
pay
what? A jerk off?
and
What?
give free stuff to people who didn't put anything into our system. I'd rather see.
Exactly right. I mean, they're just. I mean, Schumer is just asking for everything that was cut out of the big beautiful bill or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no money for PBS, which they don't need money. They've got properties like Sesame Street and other programs that can garner millions, and plus they can still have their telethons. They're not hurting for money. There's no reason to fund them to $50 billion a year. That's just crazy,
Well,
and
you know what? Rex?
Trim, look, we're a nation in debt. We're broke. We're not just broke. We're in debt. We're unfunded liabilities 300 trillion. If that doesn't scare you,
Well, when
you
the
know,
information first started coming out about Doge, remember
mhm,
all the stuff, and they're not working on it right now. Well, I think they still are. They're just not doing it as much, as
yeah,
fast, because they are not getting any money, right? But the thing
mhm,
is, when all that shit started coming out, where all this money just from those NGOs and a few other things where that Doge money was going, and now we're finding out about Social Security and other things. I mean, just so much waste. I can't wait till you guys see some of the stuff that we're going to play tonight.
It's insane, Janet. It really is. But I really wanted to touch on something that Rex was talking about just real quick. So he's talking about all these Democrats are talking about all these different. I mean, you're talking about it as well. I know Ruben has talked about it. Everybody has at this point. All these different programs that they want to fund that are absolutely not for American people. If all these Democrats truly did believe in everything they were saying, they would absolutely give up their salaries. I mean, right now that has already been on the table a couple times. Like, let's stop government salaries until you guys can come to the table and work something out. If they truly believed in what they were saying, they would give up their salaries for the good of the people, for these people on staff. Hey, we want to go ahead and we want to donate our salaries so they could fund some of these programs. Why don't they do that? Why? Because it's all bullshit. It's all theater.
Well, that's what I've said many times. I've said, how many Democrats that are in office that any of us, and asked to chat too, has invited illegals to come live with them and feed them and board them and help them get jobs or go to school or any of that stuff? None that I could find.
Hey,
So
you know what? It's like the call to the Alamo, Janet. It's like the call to the Alamo. Remember Martha's Vineyard. That should be.
Yeah. I know. And it's the thing is that common sense is right there in front of you. All you have to do is see actions speak louder than words. And if they don't ever act, that means they don't give a shit. They just want this.
yeah.
So,
And even without their salaries, Janet, let's be common sense about this. Even without their salaries, I know when AOC took office, she was like, I make how much a year? She didn't really think she'd get paid that much, but now she's grabbing the bull by the horns, and she'll probably retire a multimillionaire, I'm sure. But
she's already a millionaire now.
well, there you go. I mean, and she hasn't been in office that long, but
I think she's
and
already
I heard that Nancy
$3 million.
Pelosi's retiring, but I think one of these days we'll probably I've heard this argument a long time ago that we'll long for the days with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and all these old fogies, because young radical AOCs will be taking over.
Yeah, but they'll take over a party, but the party will wither away because there are two things that the party's doing that are going to kill it.
Yeah.
Number one, they're getting more and more radicalized and more isolated, and basically going after the people who have the people at the top who have the money. That once the billionaires leave, then the millionaires will leave, and the 100,000ers will leave, and then they will always want to eat their own.
Yeah.
And then number two, on the other end, they're not having children. They will die off. So they need people to subvert subvert everybody. So that's how it works.
Oh, and Janet, just so you know, Pelosi, she's almost $250 million. She's at $230 million.
Well.
Oh yeah, she got almost.
Hopefully, we can get some of this money back from some of these people once we start prosecuting people.
I don't know about that. I'm iffy on that.
We have 3 years still. It's hard to believe that it's been a whole year since Trump's been in office, and we have such crappy people in government that we can't get anything taken care of. It just sucks.
Well, there's a lot that we don't know that's been taken care of. I think that we just never hear about. They're not going to blow the whistles on, which is sometimes. I think that was the same way in the
Trump
first
writing
term.
an executive order is great, right? But when our Congress doesn't even say, let's make this into a law, it's so good.
Trump you're right. Most of the stuff that has been done has been through executive order, and it really shouldn't.
And that means as soon as the new Biden gets in,
it's
gonna go right back to the same shit, because they can just pull it all out. If it's a law, that won't happen. So if these people that are in there right now that have I'm shocked they've kept it. I'm shocked that the Republicans haven't caved already, honestly, because we've got so many rhinos in there. It's like a rhino farm. It's not even. I don't even call them Republicans anymore because they're not. They're rhinos. It's a
I would agree with
rhino
that.
farm.
Yeah.
And with so many of them, I'm shocked that it's lasted this long because I kept saying, please, please don't let them cave. Because if they cave, we'll never win another thing ever. We'll never win. We'll not see anyone prosecuted. We won't see any money coming back. We won't see Doge be able to finish their job trying to get rid of all the people that are on Social Security that never put in a dime on it, and people who never stopped getting a check even though they're dead and buried for 50 years, stuff like that. And anyone that's cashing those checks, I want to see them arrested. I want to see people punished for breaking the law, because if it was you that did it, you'd be arrested for it. Yeah. So why is it okay to arrest all of us taxpayers that care about stopping the waste, but it's not okay to arrest any of these people that are just going in the stores and taking out whatever they want and walking out with it free of charge, but we're paying for it. So when we start seeing some head spin, then I'll be a lot happier. But this thing I wanted to start off with was, it's kind of good news, but I wanted to start off with something a little bit good instead of being all crap. So I've got a few good things mixed in here, but can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bobby Bartels. I'm a proud member of Steamfitter's Local Union 638. And like many of my fellow union members, I've been a Democrat my whole life. And like so many of my fellow union members, we have come to expect empty promises from Democratic politicians. In 1986, after a decade of Democratic politicians' mismanagement, Central Park's iconic Woolman ice rink had fallen into an unusable state of disrepair. Politicians made promise after promise to fix the rink, and yet they did nothing. That's when Donald Trump stepped up. He wasn't mayor, he wasn't running for anything, but he was a guy who cared about people, and he knew how to get a job done. He put his money and his reputation on the line and committed to getting it built. He did it using skilled local union labor like the men of Local 638. Together, we worked tirelessly on that project, completing it on time and ensuring kids would be skating that fall on that rink. And a quick note to President Biden, that involved working outside the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Early one hot summer morning on that job, I saw Donald Trump visiting the site. I yelled out, "Are you here to buy us coffee?" President walked right over. He wasn't the president at the time, but he walked right over, grinning, and handed me some cash and told us it was too hot for coffee. Go buy sandwiches and drinks for everyone. Now, more than ever, we need a president who knows how to get things done. We have an open border inviting illegal immigrants to take our American jobs and lower our wages. Out of control inflation is squeezing budgets, and both violent crime and drug epidemic are pushing people out of our cities, all while Democrats do nothing. That's why this union Democrat will be voting Trump along So that's why this union Democrat, along with many of my local union members, will be voting Trump this November. So that we can take back the middle class, take back the country, and rebuild the middle class that my union has helped build over so many years. God bless America. Thank you.
Okay, the reason I wanted to play that is because nobody, not one of our news agencies, hardly anyone talks about this. All the things that Donald Trump did before he was even president. With his own money, he helped people, total strangers. Remember, I've played a couple little videos. That one lady that was walking down the road crying her eyes out, a black woman. And she was depressed and sad. And Donald Trump was standing outside of his hotel or a hotel and stopped her and started talking to her. And he prayed with her and he handed her something. And she said when she opened her hand after he hugged her and walked off, he gave her $100 bill. And she took it home and she said she framed it. Are you okay, Ruben?
No, I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go. Basically, I'm saying to myself, oh no, not again. So,
okay. Well, you have a good evening.
yes. Take care, guys. Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Later.
Well, I wanted to, oh yeah, he's been having a lot of problems, but he'll be okay. We just have to let him do it his way. Basically, that's why he's even gotten as good as he is, because he's doing it his own way. But I just wanted people to hear, coming from a Democrat, a union member, people that are always told that if you vote anything but Democrat, you're a traitor, basically. Right. So we have people like this man and many of other people that work with him voted for Trump. And this is in like all the big cities. You think about it. So there's many people there that care and don't want what just happened in New York City. And Donald Trump will probably never move back to New York. I don't think he will.
No,
and
they won't have
really,
it. Nope.
Yeah, what's really sad is how many people are going to leave. How many people are going to leave New York as soon as this person's sworn in and starts making all these changes? He's already begging for money right now because he knows it's going to be hard. And it's a sanctuary city. So no matter what we do, you and I in our states, and whatever this administration tries to do, what are they going to actually be able to do when the people are all against them? You got a guy that gets a job working with ICE because he believes in something, just like a military person. A person joins the military because they want to protect our country, right? Hey, well, Vinny. Then as soon as they're told to do their job, they risk their life doing it, depending on where they're sent. Same thing with ICE. ICE isn't risking their life just trying to capture all these criminals, okay, right. And drug dealers. They're also getting run over, spat on,
crushed out,
rocks thrown at them, all this by American citizens. The people that they're trying to help are the ones that are attacking them. This is these are misguided people. It's just sad to me that he gets so much hate, all because these people are brainwashed into believing that he wants all of them dead, and that you and I are Nazis. Okay. My great grandmother was a full-blood Chickasaw Indian raised on a reservation. Okay. And her daughter, was my great grandmother was also a Chickasaw and raised on a Indian reservation in Oklahoma. They went through the Trail of Tears.
Right.
But yet I'm a Nazi because of who my relatives were. It's because my skin's pale.
Interesting thing there, Janet. I don't know if you knew this one. Did you know, along with the Cherokee Braves who had their own flag, did you know the Chickasaw Nation also had a band that fought in the Civil War on the Confederate side?
No. There's a lot of things I haven't found. I've been
There's a
slowly
lot of interesting stuff out there.
getting a
I just
lot
want
of
to add.
stuff
I just
into
want to add one thing on Janet.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate some of this stuff that Trump has done, but I would not say he's perfect, though.
No,
I
I
would
don't
not
think
say he's perfect. And the one thing I would want to stress on people is when you see some of us calling out some of the stuff that he does, we're doing it with good reason because
No, I agree.
we expect better out of our politicians, and we know that this guy has done a lot of great things in the past. That stuff is already well documented. I just don't want to see him being forced to do things or even side with people that he knows is not really for the better of the American people. That would be my biggest gripe right now, is that he's doing things like, the stuff with Pfizer and like, what everybody who said they were MAGA can't stand the idea of those vaccines and everything. But a lot of people just like, oh, well, he says it's okay. We got to still be able to call that out. And the reason I say we got to call that out is because we don't want to be like the Democrats. Because what did we all complain about the Democrats? That they blindly followed all their leaders without question. So definitely applaud all the good stuff he's doing, but anything that he's doing that we find questionable, be sure to call that out as well. But then you have the problem with the Democrats where they just call everything out regardless.
And we
Hold
are doing
people
that.
accountable.
Right, right, exactly.
The thing is, it's got to be fair on both sides. If we have to treat our people, whether they're Republican, conservative, or whatever their label is, liberal, or what's the other one? Independent, and then there's libertarian. Okay, no matter who you are, okay, if you break the law, you should have to go to court, just like you and I, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, the thing is that I'm sick of seeing people blindly walking around, jumping on people when they're trying to do their job, that type of thing. That's like you go into the grocery store and the cashier is ringing up your food and you go, you fucking whore, why are you charging me $5 for that, and slapping them. It's like it's her fault that the price of that thing she just scanned.
Well, Janet, if I may, I think that kind of leads into the point that I was talking about, the blind following, because you get a lot of these people that are super uneducated on the left, and nobody could say otherwise, because I've seen some of these liberals and their math equations on Twitter, and it's laughable at best. And that's the problem, is they're uneducated. They refuse to do any of their own research. They get their walking orders and they follow it to the T. That is absolutely ridiculous. And that's how we wind up getting in the situation we're in right now with Poopy Pants and everything that he screwed up. And we're still kind of suffering with all the shit that he did. I mean, you look at the highest rate that we'd ever seen in inflation under Joe Biden at 17%, a huge 17% jump almost overnight. There has never been another administration that has screwed up the economy quite as much as this guy did. But you still have these Democrats on the other side. They refuse to listen to reason. They don't want to hear it. It's all about their fifis. And this shit, it really needs to stop. And the only way to really start correcting this problem is we got to get them at the early ages. We got to be able to teach these kids common sense shit in schools. And I really think that's where we're all going down. I know when I was a kid, I started seeing a lot of the shit that we wanted to get pushed like really heavy later on. It started in the freaking late 70s, early 80s. Like most people don't even realize. I mean, it goes back even further than that. But I mean, when you really started taking notice, it was in the 70s and 80s. And it really has gotten so much worse to date. And if that problem is corrected with curriculums in schools and being able to teach kids the actual necessary skills they need to be able to survive in the workforce and in public in general, this situation is only going to get worse.
But see, that's another thing, and it's our fault as parents. When you're not active with your kids that you're sending to the local school, you don't help them with their homework, you don't know what they're even doing in school because you don't go to any of the functions because you're too busy or you're too tired or whatever it is, that's on us. So seeing parents going to the schools, getting upset and speaking their mind about certain things they're finding out, about what's in their libraries and what they're being taught in the classroom, and then being told not to tell their parents, all those different things. It's nice to see that, but it's sad to me and heartbreaking, the fact that we have to go and fight our schools now to protect our kids.
Yeah, but that was all, I kind of laughed and I'm all for the parents standing up, against all this crap, with the bathrooms and what they're being taught. And we don't have to tell you what we're teaching. That's antithetical to the founding of this country, to any common sense whatsoever. A lot of these people should be fired, jailed just for statements alone. But regardless, uh, I don't think that I think it is on both sides. When you've got Republicans fist bumping people down on the floor, that are on the other side, and I mean on the other side, I think it was the vice president that was fist bumped by a Republican, and this has been a while back, but it's like, come on, man, really? I know you're in bed together, but displays like that, it's just crap.
Yeah,
You
but
should
what
you should not
I
even
didn't
want to
I
shake
didn't
that
want
person's
I
hand.
didn't even want Trump at the beginning. I wanted Ben Carson, and I've said this many, many times, and I talked about
Right.
it, and I did everything I could to try to support Ben Carson.
Mhm.
But the way that Donald Trump treated Ben Carson that first time when they were going backstage, from backstage to the stage to do their first debate, and Ben was going out waiting for him to call his name and missed his name. And so he stood there, and here comes the Bush, and here comes the different people as their names called, and they just walk right past him, go
Right.
out on stage. Who
Mhm.
stopped? Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He wasn't president then. So character comes out on the way you treat people. And you're not
Absolutely.
ashamed to treat people a certain way. Certain
Mhm.
things that Donald Trump has done, like when he reached out and touched that veteran on the face who had no hands when he was at a veterans thing with his wife, and he didn't no one else would have to do it. They just tap him on the shoulder or whatever. But the fact that Donald Trump did a personal attach, trying to make contact with this man, seeing he's what he sacrificed for his country, that type of thing, it made me start seeing him a little different. I started opening my eyes to him. Yeah, he's an arrogant son of a bitch. I've seen him on this show and he says, "You're fired," and did all that stuff. I've seen all that stuff. Okay. I understand that. That's why it took me a little while to really pay attention. But when a person says something and they follow through with it, to me, that shows character. Okay. And each day that goes by, and he's doing more and more of the things that we all, well, not all of us, but the people that voted for him, that went there and put a ballot in with his name on it, when they see that he's following through with what he said he would do, and even if it has to be executive orders, which sucks, okay, because he can't get enough people in our government that care enough about our country to fix it and make it permanent, right? Instead of it being an executive order,
Right.
which is sad because we have more people that hate Trump more than they want to help this country get out of debt
Sure.
and do
Yeah.
all these things.
You know,
And that's what's sad. But I'm starting to see a change in that.
I remember what I was going to say about, when the parents were first speaking out, by that time, the Ukrainian war, which was totally preventable, except Biden just let it happen,
Yeah.
his asinine planned all theater, like Vinny says, pull out of Afghanistan that got 13 of our greatest blown up. But when it comes to their children, I'm not against them speaking up. It's like, really, that's what it takes. Is it getting in your backyard affecting you? Somebody said earlier in the chat that as long as we're comfortable, we'll be complacent. We won't do what it takes. But we've come as close to a disaster for this country of never being able to win an election for a decent person ever again. What does it take, to wake some people up? I guess it takes them messing with their children. But even that, I just kind of laugh at. I was like, where were you when the Ukrainian thing started? Where were you when the Afghanistan pullout and there were American children left behind to be molested and killed over there in Afghanistan? Where were your voices then? That kind of gets me mad, Janet. That I will speak up when it's in my own backyard, when your dog comes to poop in my front yard. But otherwise, I'm silent. I'm the silent majority. That makes me mad.
Well, a lot of people are silent,
Yeah.
but it's it's what they do behind the scenes that makes a difference also. So a person that still is working the polls, or they're going and they're taking food to families, or they're whatever it is they're doing for their church or whatever, if the only person that knows anything about everyone is God. He's the only one.
Sure.
He already knows what your choices are going to be, what you've done, what you're going to do in your future, and he hopes that you convert and become a Christian and follow him. You make the right choices. But he gave us free will, so all he can do is just sit back and watch. That's basically all he can do, because that's what he gave us as a gift.
Well, I mean,
So
I think we can be proactive with our relationship with God, and in prayer and other things that we can do that move God, that first move our heart. And if we move our heart, if we would look out and say, if you look in a mirror and I look in a mirror and Tommy looks in a mirror, if we all look in a mirror and we're actually honest with ourselves, take our mask off, and we have many of them, right?
mhm.
For different situations. And I will clean up my backyard and you clean up your backyard and Tommy cleans up his backyard. We'll have a civil, clean society, but people are unwilling to do that.
Well, the thing is that's what I'm saying. We can only control our own actions. We can share the information we have and offer help to other people, that if they decide they want to do a certain thing, that we'll try to help them, or find other people that are interested that can help. As long as we do that, we're doing the best we can, because we're just people and we have responsibilities ourselves. We have our own families, we have our own properties, we have our jobs, or whatever it is we have to do. We can't just shirk all our responsibilities and say, oh, I'm going in 100% to do this and pass out flyers. You're not helping, because you're hurting yourself and your family by shirking your own duties. And God wouldn't want that from us in the first place. But this gentleman, I thought, was very interesting what he had to say about all the things that's going on right now. And I thought it was great. So I want to play this real quick for everybody. Here we go.
You can't make this up.
Congratulations, New York. You just elected a man who promised that he was going to pay all of your bills using the money from anyone who makes over $1 million a year. So before we fast forward to the oops, we're broke part of this story, let's talk some numbers. Currently, there are roughly 80 to 90,000 millionaires that live in New York City, and about 125 billionaires. And between those two groups, they already cover about 48% of all of the city income taxes. But now Mom Donnie would like to jack up their taxes another 2%, as well as hike up corporate rate taxes on top of it. And y'all are all out here thinking that he sounds like Robin Hood. But here's what's actually happening. 10 to 15% of those millionaires are already planning to leave. Another 10 to 15% of the billionaires are shifting residency or moving operations out of the city. And another 3 to 5% of major companies are preparing to relocate entirely.
Good
Sorry,
for
I left
them.
my crayons at home for this one. But that is a guesstimated $1.3 to $2.4 billion in lost tax revenue every single year. And when that money walks out the door, the city is not going to be chasing the rich. It's going to be chasing you. Because when the top leaves, the bill always trickles down. So when your rent starts to climb and your city taxes rise and your grocery bill goes up again, it's not because the rich got greedier. It's because your mayor ran the investors, the jobs, and the tax base out of town. And the only thing that's left to tax then is you.
100% truth. And the sad truth is that most people are still going to go, if Trump hadn't done this and hadn't done that, I wouldn't be stuck where I am right now, because I can't afford to pay my way. You see what I mean? So it's because of the brainwashing. Just like I said, they say that I'm brainwashed, but I'm not. If they sit and have a conversation with me, which they won't, because every time I ask them a question, about something, it ends up being an argument, because it always goes back to, you hate Black people, or you hate Mexicans, or you hate, whatever type of stuff.
Yeah, we used to have a longer tolerance. We used to have a longer tolerance for different divergent opinions. Now it's like real short, cut you off at the knees. I don't even want to hear it. You're not my best friend anymore. It's like, wow, I just said hello, and I voted for Trump. or whatever,
Well, it's
Um,
because, okay, it is so many different things. If most people, in relationships or with anything, a person points a finger at you and accuses you of something. Why? Because they have a guilty conscience, because they've already done it. Almost every person I know whose spouse cheated
Well-
on them accused them of cheating.
Well, we
first.
saw that with the Democrats where they were going traitor, traitor, traitor years ago, when actually they were the traitors with their actions.
I mean, think about it. Everything that Trump
They
was
turn
accused
it
of,
around. What they're doing, they turn it around and say the other person is doing. They project
everything that
what
Trump
they're
was
doing.
accused of.
Mhm.
If you look at Hillary, Pelosi, some of the top people, the Democrats, every one of them have done it. Okay.
Yeah, we need to learn, even on YouTube, we need to be directing people to like wall builders and other places like that are talking about the role of government, the proper role of government. How did our founding fathers look at that? How is government supposed to be ran? And there's lots of documentation. And where did all these, founders get their sources from? And what other governments did they look at to comprise our government? Because I do believe we got the best system ever set up. We've lasted longer than anyone, and but with this form of republic that we have. But I really believe we're kind of post republic right now. We're off the rails. Somehow we got to get back on track. And what really gets me, Janet, is you have somebody like Carter come in. Okay, it takes a Reagan 8 years just to get us back going, and then you got an Obama comes in. It takes a Trump, 4 years, 8 years to get us back on track.
Yeah, but
Clean up the
thing is,
mess that they make.
honestly, each time we go in and we try to fix it, okay, afterward, it never gets completely fixed. There's still laws on the books that are bullshit.
Yeah.
Look at the Social Security mess. Just that one thing is going to take a lot of work to fix. And what
Sure
they'll do is
is.
they put
Yeah.
Band-Aids on everything, but they don't actually go in and do surgery and fix
Well,
it.
if they would
it-
pass a penny
Era.
tax, and you can't even do a penny now, it's because of inflation and everything, and it has to be 6 cents tax. Saying that's
Yeah.
just going to climb. If the longer we kick it down the road, and yes, Clinton should be held upon responsible for spending all that money that he shouldn't have spent, and they say, well, we balanced the budget under Clinton. No, you didn't. Look at the own government numbers, and I'll tell you, it was a scam. That he didn't do that. He spent
And that's
money
why
that
they didn't
and
want
boasted, and so
they
did
didn't want
Obama and
Trump
Biden.
in, because
the
they knew
numbers.
Trump was going to dig around and find things, okay, and put different people in there that weren't controlled already by the Democrats. And when he picked Elon Musk, because Elon offered, hey, I'll get a team up, and they'll go in. These young men and women that went in there were young people that are go-getters that stepped out of college to take the job to do this Doge thing, because they knew if they could go in and do this, how good does that look on their resume that they saved our government so many trillions of dollars? You see what I mean?
Well, I mean, just seeing the stats of the payoffs. I mean, we saw even Schumer. Schumer, yes, and Pelosi, yes, but there were even higher paid, even Republicans. On some of these.
The thing is, anybody can go on X and go to the Doge X page and find out anything that they've got on there. They've been posting every single thing that they found, and they had meetings once a week and all that stuff, so that anybody can see it. Because Trump said he wanted transparency, and he's doing the best he can, I feel. To show everything. That's why he does so much. Everything he signs, he does it with people and news around, because he doesn't want to ever be accused of what he's been accusing Biden of doing.
Vinny says we need protection from AI laws on the books. Absolutely. And no government intrusion on like forums like this of the internet. But we also need to protect our grid. And we could do that for a couple $1 billion, which is nothing to the government. Spend the money. It'll take about 6 years to fully implement, protect our grid. If it goes down, we're back to the Stone Age. We're dead.
Well, I would say that was one of the things we kind of touched on a little bit last week when we were talking about AI and the dangers of AI. At least I know I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people don't even realize how dangerous that stuff is. And we're talking about, you know, like the arts and everything. We talk about artists being ripped off for their artwork, musicians being ripped off, because a lot of the AI generated music is actually stealing from real artists. And it's just reformatting it. And that's why some people are getting hit in copyrights. But then you talk about the more dangerous elements of AI when you're talking about AI is replacing people in the workplace. Because there was just an article that came up, like, and I forget how many thousands of people that got laid off, but there was a whole ton of people that got laid off at Amazon. They didn't even get laid off. They just got straight out fired and replaced with AI and robots.
Yeah, I think
like
it was
this is the
4,000.
How many?
4,000, I think, in the warehouses, because now they're using robots and stuff to sort and organize things. I think it was 4,000.
Well, let's face it, Silicon Valley pushes a lot of the agenda.
Well, heck,
that's a big
Walmart,
block.
If I have a cart and there's no open cashiers, I'll go up and say, hey, I want someone to check me out. Well, we have open registers. I go, you're not paying me to cash myself out. I want to pay an employee to cash me out. So they give me someone, because I tell them, fine, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'll go to Kroger or whatever. Yeah. And they come and help me, because and people said that's stupid. I'd rather do myself. I'd do it myself. Did they lower the prices so that you could serve yourself? You see what I mean? Now you go into Taco Bell or any of these little places. Instead of standing or sitting in line in my car, I went in. And they got kiosks where you have to order your own food.
Yeah.
So every time you do that, and you don't pay with cash, you're helping with the AI.
And go to Texaco. You used to get full service, but not anymore, right?
Well, wait, were you talking about the AI replacing people too? So I want to talk about an experience I literally just had. So I was talking before the show, the problems I was having with my Wondershare editor for doing all my videos and doing the live stream stuff. So one of the problems I was having with that thing crashing. So I reached out to Wondershare through their help menu. And what did I get? I didn't get a person reaching out to talk to me about the problem I was having. I got an AI generated responder unit trying to tell me how to step-by-step go through it. When I literally typed out everything, the problems I have, and I said, after the update, I started having problems. It was crashing. What do you think the first thing the AI robot tells me? Did you make sure that you updated to the current Wondershare? Like, I literally just said, after the update, these problems happen. And this is what's happening across the board. And this is why I say there really needs to be, like Vinny said, and what's going on, Vinny and Lloyd and everybody in the chat, man, thank you for hanging with us. But I mean, that's one of the things that I was trying to say last week is we don't really see the absolute danger this stuff represents when there's no kind of cap put on this. There's no way to actually control this, and they're just kind of letting it run wild. And do you really think that big corporations and businesses that are looking at this stuff say, hey, it's going to be a lot cheaper for me to get a bunch of robots and AI to run everything for me than actually have to hire people? So then what happens to all these people that are displaced with their jobs? Nothing. What are you going to do? I mean, how do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of your family when everything that you've ever known and everything you've ever known to be able to do is being slowly phased out and replaced by AI and robots? Like this is a moment like when you look at a lot of these old movies that kind of gave you the blueprint of the dangers of technology. And people just ignore it. Well, that's just fantasy. Yeah, a lot of it's fantasy, but guess what? There's some kernel truth in almost every fantasy movie or show or book that has been put out there. And most people just ignore those warning signs.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out before we go on to the next thing to Tommy for resubscribing to my channel. Thank you, Tommy, which YouTube unsubscribed him recently. And I want to thank him for resubscribing to my channel. Thank you, Tom.
Nice. Yeah. Earlier, before we went live, we were talking about Nancy Pelosi. So I was excited to know that we had this, because I love it when Trump calls people out and he says what he wants to say. And so I wanted to play this for everybody to get a chuckle out of it.
I think she's an able woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country. I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible. Thank you very much.
I think she was terrible. Thank you very much.
See, so many people that I know that can't stand him.
Yeah.
They hate him because they said he's a stuffed shirt, he's rude, he's obnoxious. And I go, I don't care. I'm so sick of the shit that they've done to our country. We need somebody that just says, chuck it, get rid of it. You know,
look, you got rapists, you got pedos, you got all kinds of scum up there. Drain the swamp, and on both sides, you know.
Yeah.
You'll never get term limits. I can't see any.
I wish we could get rid of.
I say you offer them all free flights. The free flight stops right over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Problem solved. Real quick, Hardwick, Bentho, he'd asked a question, what do I think of the idea that someday society might be arranged like antebellum plantations with humans sitting back and letting robots do all the work? I don't see it happening. Reason being is because the only people who are going to be able to afford all this kind of stuff are the filthy rich. So the average person, no. We're the ones that are going to be struggling to meet ends meet. We're all going to be in bad shape if this stuff isn't curtailed in a little bit.
I agree with you, Vinny. Nancy they belong. A lot of these politicians, like Janet was talking about earlier, she wants to see some of them do some hard jail time, and I'm right with you. I'm right with you on that, Janet. I don't know how are the penalties for such crimes harsher on Venus. I'm just wondering.
Well, a person that takes money that's allotted to go to some place over there that we voted to put them in there and they took the money and did other things with it, I think they should get harsher penalties.
Oh,
because
I would like to see some public executions on TV. I would like to see some real deterrence in this country.
Well, look, I can't.
That's the only way it'll stop.
I can't say out loud without getting you guys in trouble, but Stripe right here, Stripe has the solution. If you blow me up for just a second, Janet, Stripe has the solution for those people.
Give me a second. I got to figure out how to do this. Now, how do I do that?
There we go.
You should, from the bottom panel, you should be able to solo screen me.
Okay, I click on you.
Where my icon is.
Three dots, maybe.
There we go.
Hey.
There you go. Stripe has the answer for all of it. Vlad was not wrong.
Oh, he's so cute. Now, who made this picture for you?
Guinea pig?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stripe. That's my heart icon pig. My daughter did all
That's
these.
Right.
So
that's what I wanted to say.
I can draw, but I have to be in the mood to draw. I'm very weird like that with my art. I have to be in the mood to draw, or I won't be able to draw at all. My daughter, however, can draw whenever she wants, and she's really good like doing these like chibi type things.
Yeah, that's really good picture. She did an excellent job.
The finer details is in there, which most people don't even notice. So if you see it looks like blood on his mouth and his sword, it's actually carrot juice.
Yeah, there's little carrots flying around in the air.
It does look like blood background for definitely, Yeah.
Well, it's dramatic.
It's dramatic.
Red is dramatic. Yeah. I think it's great. That's why
I don't know why some of these new news agencies, I go to the bank and they've got a screen behind them, and it's always Democrats up there giving their rebuttal for something that they don't want done, that they're blockage, stopping, like all his appointments. Start the confirmations. Let's get going. Quit being constipated all the time. You're not in there to be a blockage.
I think he's doing a great job. I think everybody that he's put in there so far is doing a great job. I've been really impressed with all of them so far. Until, I'm going to give them their year. It's like I said, we got another month and a half. So once we get past that, then I'm going to start being a little harsher on a few of them that nothing's happened with yet. But stuff's moving along. So as long as it's moving, toward a direction. I'm going to try not to be too much of a bitch about it, but I
Better
really like who
tomorrow.
this guy is. So let's hear what he has to say right here on this.
Yeah, go ahead. Brennan, Obama, Monaco, all conspired together, all worked together to try to sabotage, undermine, unravel the democratic institutions and structures of this country. The Russiagate hoax, the Russiagate conspiracy, and all of the assaults against our liberties that went with it, the pre-dawn raids, the handcuffing of innocent Americans, the espionage against President Trump's campaign and staff, the removal of his national security advisor, one fake indictment, one fake charge after another, the special counsel, all of it was a unrelenting attempt to overthrow the government the American people voted for. I cannot find words harsh enough to condemn the conduct of these conspirators, these insurrectionists.
Yeah. So the fact that they're saying this stuff, okay, is the beginning of them following through with it, I'm hoping. They're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's and getting things prepared. But just like you said, if they don't get all these judges confirmed, who's going to prosecute these people? See what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, the judicial has.
Why do you think the Democrats are dragging their feet? They don't want to get these people in there because
and their statute of limitations, they're covering their ass. Yeah,
that's right. So I don't know. Sooner or later, I think that the biggest court in the country is going to have to step in and say, we got to do something different.
Well, even they're compromised, Janet. You know that.
Well, yeah, I know. We got a person on there that doesn't even know.
Why isn't Schumer in prison for threatening the Supreme Court?
I don't
know. It's okay. Just give them the addresses, so maybe our party will go kill them.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Really? Yeah. Why isn't Schumer in jail for his statements? Yeah,
or that's what I'm saying. The thing is, I want to see these people punished, and I know that most people feel the same way. That we want to see justice for all, which means if you said it, you'd be in prison. Or
definitely.
Waiting to go to court, losing.
Look, we had detainees because of January 6th, right? I mean, some without even charges. Just put them away in a hole, and nobody will miss them, right?
Well, that's what my dad always said. He said each state should just dig a giant hole. I mean, really, really, really deep. Line it all with cement and have some drains so you can, hose it out because they're gonna have poop and everything down there. And he said, then when the person's convicted of child molestation, murder, or whatever, you put them down in the hole and you leave them. And if the family wants to bring food or clothes or whatever, they can throw it down to them, way down there. And they have guards, to make sure they stay in there. But the thing is, that's what they get. That's real prison.
Why don't we just drop them all off on Bikini Atoll and make them clean up the island?
There you go. Yeah. If they're nards glow in the dark, well,
people do stuff to other people like torture, rape, and do all.
I think what we're saying is we need some real deterrence. We need some real deterrence in this country, and if we don't get them, they're just going to keep on.
Which is what they've been doing.
Want. You know what a perfect example is, if you think about it, like out in LA or somewhere or Portland, where they go into a Walmart and they just take what they want, and as long as they take less than $1,000 worth or whatever, they know they can get away with scot-free. And that's what they're doing. They're like kids in a candy shop. There's no consequences to my actions. I don't know about you, but that was not the world that I was told about, that there are actual consequences to your actions, and we need to start holding people accountable. Rex for president.
Yeah. And the thing is that there is good things also going on, not just us being frustrated, because information is coming out and being collected, but we just want to see somebody pay for something. That's what we're ready for. I know it has to happen before the next elections, or I don't think a lot of people are going to get
elected. We want some red meat. Absolutely.
That's the biggest problem with these people that are sitting in political office right now, a lot of them like to yip, and they like to talk a good game about what they're going to do. And one of the people I'm going to point out right now is Rand Paul. He has been talking about for years how he's going to go after Fauci and all these other people that poisoned all these people. And what has he done besides yap his freaking mouth? Every time I see him yapping his mouth on Twitter, I put that little stick figure
Voted with the Democrats.
where he's got the stick out and he's saying, do something. That's what I keep posting to him every single time. Dude, you've been talking this game for enough years. You are sitting in a position now where you can actually try to force the issue and do something. But what are you doing instead of actually taking action? You're just still sitting there like a chihuahua yapping your mouth.
Well, maybe they'll get in there and they'll repeal Obamacare. Oh, well, that didn't happen, did it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need term limits. That's what we need.
President Trump got into office January 20th, immediately issued an executive order on rare earths. And here we are, it's November, and I have this to take back to the Oval, to President Trump. This is the first magnet made in the U.S., I believe, in 25 years. So rare earth magnet problem, we're on our way to solving the Chinese chokehold that they have. This fantastic facility here in Sumter, South Carolina, they started it 18 months ago. The state of South Carolina, Governor McMaster, was fantastic. They said it took them 8 weeks to get permits. They couldn't believe how fast it was. And this is President Trump's all hands on deck for this national security emergency. President Trump.
Okay. This is something, how many news reports have you seen about this?
0.
Okay. This is a good thing that Trump did way back when he first got in office by saying, we got to open this up. We got to get these people some jobs. We got to start mining for ourselves. We got to start becoming an independent country to where we are not waiting on all these other countries to give us whatever it is that we need. When we have everything here, we are the biggest, most powerful country in the world, and we're the youngest. But we have good people. They're really good, hardworking people that live in every single state. I don't care if it's New York or California. There's good people there still.
Yeah.
Okay. There are many things that we can be doing to have jobs for everybody. Mining, drilling for oil, cutting down trees, whatever it is. There's many people that want work to grow food, to be farmers or whatever, grow cattle for beef or pigs or chickens or whatever it is. We have it here, but we have to have
and yet 80% of our beef, of our meat market is imported. There's only 20%, and they're hanging by their fingernails.
Yeah, but just think about it. What happens if China and Russia get together and say, fuck America? We're going to cut off their food supply. And they put poison
or
in
medicine. They are making most of our medicine.
All they got to do is put fentanyl in some of this stuff. It's going to kill half our country. We should not be relying on all these countries to give us anything. We should be the exporting.
Absolutely.
And so maybe we'll take something from you. See what I mean?
This is another thing, Janet, that kind of started in the 80s with that kind of whole throwaway society where everything needs to be cheap so we could just throw it away. Let's not make things that last. I mean, and that was actually a shift in the culture, especially with the younger generations, where they feel like they should be getting more for doing less, and nobody wants to put in that hard work anymore. And I think that's one of the things when you get back to the education aspect. If you teach these kids the right way and they learn, hey, you put in a good day's worth of work and you're going to benefit from it. Your community is going to benefit. Your families are going to benefit. Your friends are going to benefit. And we need to get back to that. And if we can't get back to that, you're going to see more of a degrading aspect to our society. Because unfortunately, if you watch a lot of these kids nowadays, they really expect to get something for absolutely nothing. I mean, how many times have you seen the little barista girl at freaking Starbucks feel like I'm not making a living wage for basically what is a starter job? You know what I mean? This is not supposed to be a career, lady. This is just supposed to be a part-time job. And they really do think that they should get everything for nothing. And if you don't break that stranglehold on the youth, we're going to have a hard time, even when it comes to like great production being brought back. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of the older generations that are hard workers that are going to want to do that. But how many of these younger kids that don't have any kind of freaking what's the word I'm looking like the ability to just get up and do something, you know?
I would say ramp up incentives for homeschoolers because they're in the 90 percentile, you know. And at one time, if you think about it, America at its founding, all schools were at home, you know. I know
or they were run by small communities.
So Tommy, my question to you is, how do you do that? How do you turn the tide of the culture within? I mean, there was communist teaching when I went to college 40 years ago.
Well, I think the first way you got to do that is you got to get rid of some of these teachers that we have. You got to have a curriculum that is going to be straightforward, to the point. No, this is my opinion. This is my feeling. You got to start dealing with facts.
Well, you know, that's one of their biggest blocks, right?
Yeah, but that's got to be what you got to get out of the damn schools. You got to get rid of all the stuff that is conjecture.
When you get a good state, okay, I'll just take Arkansas. You got a state, and then you say, okay, every year we're going to test our teachers in every single grade. If our teachers can't pass, they don't get to keep the job. Okay, we do that. What's going to happen to our schools? They're going to improve. The students are going to learn. You're not going to have a kid graduate from high school that can't read and write just because he could play football or basketball.
Yeah, I mean, even in Arkansas, they said you don't have to learn cursive. And how many times have you went into a place and say, print and write your name? If you don't learn cursive, you can't even write your name.
If you
now they repealed that after a couple years, but they should have never passed that to begin with.
When people were talking about doing that, I thought that was ridiculous. I said,
it is.
You're going to have kids that are going to grow up and they're not even going to be able to read the original Constitution at the museum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they can't read cursive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that goes, that is our future. We're giving up.
Some of the other things that they did in schools, Janet, and I could talk about this because, you know, my daughter, you know, she's already graduated and everything, but it wasn't that long ago when she was getting out of school. So one of the things that they had is one of the programs that helps kids to really kind of get prepared for the world is where they have those almost, the type of schooling where you're like learning auto mechanics, or you're learning something that's going to be useful when you get into the outside world. That's
like VoTech,
like vocational, inside the school. So they had those. In her last year, they removed all of them. Because I remember at one time they had some of those vocation schools for high schoolers where, you could do some of this stuff in class, but then some of them actually had outside where they would maybe go work for a small business or something to actually learn some real skills, to kind of get them excited, to get their feet into it and to learn something, to learn a skill. That's another thing that really needs to be brought back. We need to bring back practical teaching as well, as far as like, you know, if you're going to get into a career of, say, even being a vendor at a flea market, teach these kids how to properly be able to balance their budgets, how to be able to freaking hand out change and money, how to deal with the public, like real world things. And that's another thing they've absolutely removed the curriculum, instead of installing all this agenda driven crap about, hey, my pronouns is they, them, because I feel like I have multiple personality disorder.
I really believe that some of the people up there are morons. I really do. When you got, and here's a perfect example, when he was talking to a lieutenant general, I think and they were talking about how many troops to leave on Guam. And he's going, well, I've got a concern that if, and I'm putting it more eloquently than the moron did. He was like, is the island tip over if we get too many? Impeach that guy, right? There's dementia going on there or something. What the hell? You need a competency test for some of these, and you would skirt 25% or 35% right from the get-go if you had a mental acuity test, a bare minimum.
Half of Congress would be gone if you made them take a test.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. We could run the country on something else. Come on.
Well, this next thing I thought was pretty
interesting.
So I hope you guys like it. But we're starting to get into some of the stuff that a lot of us have been talking about since the election in New York.
Skills coming back to America. Woohoo!
This I thought was interesting. It's a Charlie Kirk snippet. Here we go.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises up against it. Yep. The spiritual...
I wanted to play that because it's leading into all the things that you're starting to hear if you're paying attention after what happened in New York City. It's a lot of people were saying, he's not going to win. He's not going to win. That's all they said. That's all I heard. I said, he's going to win. Simply because nobody is saying anything bad about this guy. You know, they're just saying it's not going to happen. Just like I heard for, I don't know how long in every state, you know, that you hear that, oh, our state will never go blue.
I don't know if you knew this, but he even had Muslims against him in New York, in parks, trying to convince people not to.
I saw Jews out in record numbers wanting to vote for him.
Yeah. That, I mean, a large part of his voting block.
And they were all young. These were mostly young people. Like the record number of people showing up were 30 and under.
Yeah.
Okay. These aren't all
big block
Democrats
that needs to change how they vote.
Going and voting. Because a lot of them have died. A lot of them have moved to other states because they retired or whatever. And the people that I feel voted for people like that and still vote for that type of person are the ones that mom and dad's paying for their car. Mom and dad's paying for the cell phone. Mom and dad's paying for their credit card. Mom and dad's paying for them to go to college. Okay. You got them all doing that. And when they get out of college, they hate their parents. Their parents are the problem. Why our country's Nazis. See, this
after
is
a semester or two. It doesn't even take, 4 years of college.
By 4 years, usually you have a child that
thoroughly indoctrinated.
My parents are the problem.
Yeah,
I'm in my horrible life, even though everything's taken care of. You know, they have to push a couple buttons, and they say, I hate, governments, and I hate this, and I hate everything except I like having all this stuff at my fingertips, even though they didn't do anything to get it yet.
Yeah.
Then they get their first check, and they're like, "Who's FICA?" You see, they don't understand how anything works yet because they're not really paying attention. See what I mean?
I know.
And that's why usually as someone ages, they usually become more conservative because they realize I want to keep money in my own account.
Well, when I was younger, I was altruistic.
And I want to say one thing real quick. What my mother would do with us girls. Okay, she had 5 daughters, so she would get one of us would be a hoity-toity, and I won't say which one it was, but they always figured, I don't want to get my hands dirty, and I don't want to, I don't want to sweat, all this kind of thing. So I won't say which one it was. I was always mowing and doing stuff, so it wasn't me. So what my mother would do is that one person, she was trying to teach them something. So they got their first check for their little job, and I think it was like $72 or something like that. So she took the money, and she did 72 $1 bills, and she laid it down on the table, and she said, now this money is going to go for this. This money goes here. And she separated all the money. And she's like, well, that's my money. I earned that. And she goes, yeah, but you live here. Okay, and it costs us to pay for electricity. She started going down all this stuff. She started taking money out and setting it aside. And she goes, when I want, Janet gets this and Kathy gets that. And she was giving it out to all the sisters. And she's like, well, and I had $21 left, is what was left out of her $72 that she got from her check. And she was like, this isn't fair. And she goes, that's right. It isn't fair, is it? When people get to take out of your check the money you worked hard for, and they sit at home and do nothing, but they're still going to get some of your money. Do you think that's fair? No. That's what my mother was trying to teach us, is that people that do nothing to earn it shouldn't get a part of our money. There's something they can do. There's got to be something they can do to help their communities to earn a little bit of the money.
And that's through our tax money mostly. You know, I mean,
that's what she was talking about. She was trying to teach my sister about taxes.
I think we talked a little bit about brands like, that blows my mind, like Nike and other money that we've given them has been weaponized in the last few years against the consumer, to go to the money that we initially gave them for the products is being used against us, to destroy our way of life. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's when I happily boycott and never buy their product again. Especially with Nike, that's problematic with the slave labor and everything. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you don't have to pay somebody a decent wage, it's not. It's like there was somebody, I don't know. I think it was in a space, and they were talking about how they build things. They build, businesses and things like that. They do construction, and he hires different groups of people to do the plumbing and the electricity and the woodworking and the cement and, the different things that you have to build a building, right? And he said he would call this one group of people every year, for different projects, 4 or 5 times a year. He would always come, and that the guy would fill out the paperwork and said, here's all the paperwork. Everybody's everybody's legal. This is their, all their information or whatever. And then he said he called them recently after Trump did this whole thing about, getting ICE on all these groups, pushing down on them, telling them you're going to get arrested if your company has these people, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. He called them and said, hey, I need a group of 20 or whatever to come out. And he goes, I don't have anyone. He said, all this time you were telling me of these other jobs I did that none of those people were legal. So basically he didn't have any legals at all working for him because he was using dirt cheap labor and not having to pay benefits or anything. So hopefully that guy's business will go out of business because he doesn't
hopefully
deserve it.
that person is in court going to jail for skirting the system and not playing
that stuff.
I mean, yeah, he's gonna get his bottom line is gonna grow, right? His income's gonna grow because he doesn't have to pay insurance and other things for his employees. Absolutely. That's disingenuous. Go by the laws of the land. We've got laws in place. We just need to enforce them. It's not rocket
here
science.
Is a group. I think this is in England. Let me read this again. Hold on. Let me see real quick. Okay. Because a lot of people are talking about what's going on right now in England. Okay. Is coming to us if we let it. Okay. Because all you got to do is look at Dearborn, Michigan. Now New York, because England got a Muslim mayor, and look at how it's changed. They're praying in the streets, even though they have mosques. How many churches do you have in your town, and that all the people go outside and take over the streets and stuff to pray?
It's a show. It's the flex.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, they say they don't want to, they're not trying to force anything on us, but if they're forcing me to have to see it every day, 5 times a day or whatever, when I don't go and pray in front of them, I wonder what would happen if we got a bunch of Christians to go and pray, and get prayer blanket stuff and pray on the grounds right in front of the church for their mosques.
Well, I mean,
they like that.
They're not allowing any Christians in their inner circle. It's all Muslim. They've
Women
already
aren't
expelled.
even allowed in. Women aren't allowed to go in certain areas of their church.
Right.
Well, that was another thing, Janet. I don't know if you'd seen that. Just to add on to that real quick. So it wasn't just like praying in the streets and everything like that. There's actually videos that surface where these Muslims have actually gone into Christian churches and just disrupted the services just to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't stop with them just being annoying in the middle of the street.
I know, but I wanted to share this because this person was posting this saying that these people don't assimilate. They go in and they take over basically.
Yes.
And they were saying that these people are, there's 50,000 Muslims here in the street and they're doing this this protest or whatever. They're in unison chanting, "We await orders," basically. So I got quite a few of these little videos that I want to share because.
Well, let's face it, Obama was a Muslim. He wasn't a Christian.
Yeah,
if he was, I never saw any fruit. You know.
No, he was a Muslim.
You know what, Janet?
Muslims need to be deported and banned from Western society. Every single last one of them. And if you're going to come into my comments and say, "Oh, Nathan, that's not very loving and Christian of you," piss off. Unfollow me and piss off. Yes, we're supposed to love everybody. That doesn't mean we're supposed to be stupid and commit suicide. Nobody with 2 functioning brain cells allows an enemy into their home. You don't open your door to somebody that means you harm and say, "Oh, I'm being loving." No, you're an idiot. Get this through your head, all right? Muslims don't assimilate. Wherever Muslims go, they do not assimilate to the culture or the society that they live in. They have allegiance to only one thing, and that is their own laws, their religious laws. Their religion comes number one, and they are doing everything they can to bring their laws and their customs and overtake ours.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, I wanted to share that because that's what I'm trying to tell people is when you pack up your stuff and you move to Mexico, okay, you can't just go there and live in Mexico and do whatever you want. You can't even become a citizen there.
And that wasn't hate speech. That was not hate speech, Janet.
No, I didn't think it was hate speech.
No, that was not hate speech. People will put that off as hate speech, but it's not hate.
That's why I played all the things at the beginning of the show. These are our opinions.
You're
and we have
such
the
a
right
good
to
host.
have our opinions.
You thought
period.
this through.
So the thing is, I've been doing this for a little bit and I have gotten in trouble a few times, but mostly for like medical misinformation because the Surgeon General of Florida said that he was stopping the shots because it alters your DNA. And they said I was spreading medical misinformation. It's the Surgeon General of Florida. You know, it doesn't, and it's up on Tucker's channel, but yeah, because Tucker has 100 million people watching his channel. I have 1,000. I'm just not worth having it up there. I have to have my channel taken down.
You're small fry.
I mean? Yeah, I'm a little nothing. But the thing
low
is,
hanging fruit.
It's important that people see things, just like the whole thing about us, Trump signing an executive order and fixing the mining stuff so that we can start making magnets and certain things in our own country. Yeah. All this takes time.
I would say to what Tommy said, you know, churches, they need to have security. They need to, they don't need to get past the front door so that they can go in and disrupt the services.
Yeah,
they don't need to get past the front door. No way.
What
if they came in with a bomb?
They just drive into it. They just drive right into your church.
Okay. You know, Janet, there was something I seen earlier, and I wish I knew where it was, but I'd seen this one article you were talking about that they said they don't have to assimilate. So there was this one Islamic woman talking about, you tell us when we come to your country, we have to assimilate. We do not have to assimilate. Who are you to tell us we need to assimilate? Like the same thing you were saying. She literally just comes right out and just says it. And they're getting a little bit more bold with this stuff.
Well,
and of course, you've got the dumbasses who don't say it. They don't see it yet.
People aren't seeing it, but once they stop getting the free stuff, because my state, I'm telling you right now, is not going to send them money to bail them out because they're in over their head. So when they're not getting the federal money, because I can't wait to see that happen because Trump's already said you're a sanctuary city, you're not going to get federal money if we can't send people on there. But I want to play this for you because it's very, very interesting. All of this stuff, it gives you a little bit more information about different things and different points of view, and I like that.
Cut the purse
What
strings
can
and they
happen,
will
not
come
that it
to the
always
table.
happens, what can happen to young women? You send them away from your home, away from your dinner at night, away from your church on Sunday, away from your influence. You send them away from your home, and they walk on to a communist training camp. I do not say that about the university system because I'm trying to be over the top. That is what so many of these institutions are. They are communist training camps. And your 19-year-old baby girl, I know she has good values now. I know you raised her right. I'm not questioning you and your parenting at all. She's going to get eaten alive on that college campus because it is designed to eat her alive. They are going to take those desires to fit in. They are going to take those desires to be a mother, and they are going to twist it like the devil always does, and they are going to make her the mother of the communist movement. And she will fit in when she does it. Her friends will tell her how wonderful it is. So glad you don't listen to your Republican dad anymore. And she will, like all wonderful mothers do, she will fight tooth and nail for her baby. She will commit acts of violence and encourage acts of violence against anybody who challenges her baby, who threatens her baby. But the problem is her baby isn't a baby. The problem is her baby is the communist revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you sent your 18-year-old daughter named Brittany off to college. She was beautiful, brunette, had blue eyes. She was an athlete, played volleyball in high school. And that's why 4 years later, her name's Trina. She weighs 247 pounds. She has a body covered in piercings and tattoos. And she won't come home for Christmas this year because she thinks you're the Antichrist. We are sending our young women to communist training camps, and they are burning down the country because of it. That's a fact.
100%. And it's sad. And the fact that we love our kids and we just put up with it because we want to see our kids. We want to see our grandchildren. We want to see them grow up. But what are they growing up under? You see what I mean?
Unfortunately, it's like that mob rules mentality. Unfortunately, I mean, it's the same thing with fads that you seen when you were in high school. And I don't care if it was back in, the 70s or whatever, and you got bell-bottom jeans, like all these fads that it kind of gets forced on the kids and they feel like they have to conform to everybody else. And I see Tank Ferret presents in the chat right there. He said he remembers when his daughter had joined the Septum Ring cult. He didn't argue or dispute anything she said, just laughed and laughed and laughed until she left the cult. Yeah, good, man. That's good to hear that she's okay now. But I mean, a lot of these people that get pulled in, and even when they start to break out, if they wind up getting surrounded with more people that think the same way, they will pull them right back into that shit. I mean, it's very difficult, it seems, anymore for the younger generations to be able to think for themselves. And growing up, there was this metal band that I really like. It was called Nuclear Assault. They had this one song called Brainwashed. And it deals with a lot of the stuff that you're seeing today. And is why can't you think for yourself was the chorus line in there. And that really is what you're seeing right now. These people that cannot think for themselves. They don't bother researching anything. Whatever they're told to follow, and that's what they say is good, that's what they're going to go so they could just fit in with the rest of the crowd. And it really is a shame because there's a lack of individualism.
Yeah.
And that really is the key to it.
Is these people, these same people that are taking your kid and changing it, molding it into what they want, going to send them to the 15-minute cities to work there and get your food there and go to the doctor there, do all the little things because it's all in this nice, convenient little area, and you have your little chip in your wrist and you'll scan it. This is what we're not. I've got 4 sisters, and one of them is very much like me on her thought process about sitting and looking and dissecting things, and the other ones just say, well, it's in God's hands, and that's it, and that's all. They don't They don't want to deal with it because they think there's nothing I can do. And I'm just like, I just pray.
When we were going westward, I look at these westerns, where we were a country forged with a vision to do something, and life was hard. Life was hard. Just surviving every day. Life was hard. And within a century of comfort, we've forgotten that we should ever be vigilant of danger, and the dangers have changed over time. A bear might not maul you, but it may be the teacher with your kid, whatever. We need to be vigilant with everything that we do. We need to have intention. If you don't, it goes back to the old adage: if you don't teach your children what to believe, somebody else will.
100%. And the thing is, you should talk to your kids every day or two. Anyways, call them. How was school today? This, that, and the other. You have to have good relationships and keep working on them afterward, when they're not there every minute. You know what I mean? Just like if your kid gets married, do you just stop talking to your kid? Well, it's one day she'd call and say, I'm pregnant. And then you got to say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to help you with this and do that and get ready for have a kid. She's never had a kid before. You have. We are supposed to be a family, which means years ago when we first came to this country, they had units where the dads would hunt, the men would go out hunting, the women were the gatherers. They'd go find eggs and other things and roots and berries and whatever
and the
else.
children helped out on the farm, whatever. And day to day,
grandparents had the kids. Okay, the grandparents told them the stories about their past, taught them schooling, did all those things. It was a community within a family. Okay. And I don't see that today. You barely hear anyone talking about their family. My mom doesn't talk to me anymore. I didn't get the shot, so she won't let me go visit her, or whatever. It's whatever dumb stuff. We have let them just run us over and kick the family out in the street, and they don't want the dad with the mom or the mom with the dad. The mom and dad are fighting over the pets. It's just a mess. But we're starting to see good things happening because a lot of people were against having a Democrat this prominent in the administration. The thing is, Trump, from what I can tell, is a businessman. He runs like his show he had. He'd bring a team in and he'd tell the team what he wanted. And then each team would go and try to do those things. Then he'd bring them back in and say, what happened? Were you able to be successful? And they'd have to explain the different steps they took with each of the people from their team, what they did. And then if it was shitty, he'd say, you're fired, right? Okay. That's what I see him doing with all the people he's chose. He went through a selection of people for different, like Marco Rubio, Stephen Miller, Home, all these different people, Hegseth, and he put him in positions where he felt these people are going to do a good job with a fresh look at it from a different perspective, basically. Like with
I think he learned from his first
I think he did too. Even though from the moment he got in there, he's had nothing but opposition.
Oh, absolutely. He knew that going in. Absolutely.
By the news, by the people, he knew. But the young people,
I think the 4 years off helped him to be more laser focused, though.
Yeah, him.
This time.
But the people stepping in the positions under him, Hegseth, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, all the other ones, I can't even remember all their names right this second, but all of them are like, what the fuck? I mean, they are being shocked. I think that they're learning on the job training. Basically, they've made mistakes. They've said the wrong thing, and now they're having to do the best they can to fix it. But they're still out there working. They're still trying. Okay, and that's the difference. I see people wanting to make a difference in these people in these positions. I haven't seen this in my lifetime.
Well, I mean, isn't it a turnaround from like performance based instead of like just a hire because of your color or your gender or
or
Yeah.
they're not DEI hires. But
You're
that's
you're not
why
qualified. Yeah.
I'm happy with this choice, because this person life, his own life, was affected by a bad vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been wanting, and he says that interview that I played, I think it was like the second show I did after he got the new cabinet and they finally got picked, by the Congress and all them talking to him or whatever, and putting him
Got
in their
confirmed.
positions.
Yeah.
When they got confirmed, I think I played his interview that he said he had his wife sitting by him, and he talked about how he prayed to God that somehow what he wanted, his vision of what he wanted to get America healthy again, get them off the bad chemicals in their diets and the shots filled with all these chemicals and all this stuff, that he prayed that he would get this opportunity to do it. And that's why he decided to run for president. Okay, remember when he ran?
Yeah. Well, nothing brings it home than being personal. His life was affected.
So he got this job. He's got this job, and I believe it's from the heart, and he's doing the best he can to listen to the people that he has helping him, run his department, but listening to other people, the vaccine injured, all these other people that are coming in and doing interviews and all this different things, tons of people. And I think he's listening to them, because his actions are telling me he's listening. He's paying attention, and he's trying to make a difference. And he's only been in office for not even a full year. Okay. No. But I want you to listen to this, because to me, this is what I voted for. When I say that, I mean it, because this is what I want. Real change. People that are in there trying to make a difference and
doing their job.
People or doing the job that they said that when they took their oath that they were going to do. And in my lifetime, I'm finally seeing that happen. And I'm thankful for that. But here, I'm going to play this.
Janet's happy.
Yeah. I am. I'm really happy with it.
President Trump is the friend of the forgotten American. Obesity is a disease of poverty, overwhelmingly. And these drugs have only been available for people who have wealth. At one point, the majority of prescriptions, the highest concentration of prescriptions in this country, was the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And what about the people who live in rural areas, who live in food deserts? What about the people in urban areas who live in food deserts and are suffering from obesity and are locked into that system where they can only get ultra-processed foods, which are aggravating the problem? This will be a lifesaver to them. It's not a panacea. It's not a silver bullet. President Trump has also instructed us to address and end the root causes of chronic disease. And we're doing that. We're about to release dietary guidelines that are going to change the food culture in this country. They're going to change the kind of food the military gets. They're going to change the kind of food that our children get. We're releasing those in December.
So we have somebody who's actually doing something to try to make America healthy again.
Well, that's one of the things a lot of us have known for a very long time, how poisonous a lot of this food is. I mean, if you are one of those people that usually, you just go out and you buy your regular standard loaf of bread, I challenge you to put the store-bought stuff down for a little while and just make simple ingredient bread at home. Like whether you can get a bread maker on the dirt cheap and make it your own. And the difference that it makes in your system by eating just like regular plain bread without all the processed crap in there is just something else. And the minute you go back to that regular bread, you're going to taste the difference and you're going to taste the chemicals in it. I have a few friends where they talk about they had people that were overseas, and when they came over here and they spent time in America and they said they tried our bread, they said it tasted like pastries because it's so damn sweet with all the shit that is in it. And I think most people just don't even realize because they've grown so accustomed to everything that's in the food right now. It really is ridiculous. And as far as a lot what you were talking about earlier, what a lot of these people are just not learning the lessons, I equate it to that age-old thing about the kid in the hot stove. You know, you let the kid touch the hot stove and they burn their hand, they're going to learn not to touch it. Unfortunately, a lot of these ones today, they're touching that hot stove over and over again, burning the shit out of themselves, and they still don't get it. It really is sad. You know, you could lead a liberal to water, but you can't make them learn any common sense.
But there's an app that you can get and put it on your phone, because everybody I know has a cell phone. You can even put it on your little iPad. You know, they get those little iPads too, for the older people that, you know, have a hard time seeing the small phones. It's called Yuka, Yuka, and it's free. And all you do is you take your phone and you scan the barcode on whatever it is you're going to buy to eat, and you'll be surprised the chemicals that are in your food. It was funny as I went to visit one of my daughters, and she was like, "Oh, I only have healthy stuff. I only have this Triscuits," and she was showing me all the stuff in her cabinet, and I started scanning it and showing her the chemicals that are in it to make it last longer, to make it look and smell better. You know, all these different things. And she was like, she couldn't believe it. She was shocked.
Well, you know, a lot of it is just simply an economic one. You know, often, you know, when belts tighten, I mean, you might buy the better bread, like Tommy was saying, or yes, you could make it your own, but how many are actually going to do that now? And if you have an oven that heats up, or even a grill outside, yes, you could do that, but who's going to take the time for that? They're going to, you know, well, I can't buy the better bread now, so I'm going to go with the cheaper bread. I know I do that, and you know, when the funds dry up, you know, I have to go, and I know I'm not eating as healthy, you know,
Well,
but
guess what? You'll be surprised to find out when you use the Yuka thing. This is what I was shocked, because when you go to a health food store and you go to this one area, okay, for whatever product you're buying, it's usually way more expensive, okay, because it says, oh, it's got healthy this in it, this, that, and the other. It's grain food or whatever is on the packaging. Most of the time, if it's more expensive, it's worse for you. I found so many things by scanning. I went to a Kroger and I started scanning stuff just to see what was in what, this, that, and the other, you know, bags of rice and just different stuff, instant oatmeal, all that.
Just because it's in the health food section doesn't mean it's healthier.
Yeah, but the cheap stuff, like Great Value and stuff like that, more of that was better for you. You know why? Because they use real cane sugar and not a sugar substitute, stuff like that. I mean, that's what's so interesting. Just put the app on your phone and just scan what you already have in your house, and you will be shocked what's good for you and what isn't, because there's good stuff in there. You do have good food in your house.
Or there may be ingredient, like there's an ingredient that I think are in chips or something, some chips, you know, that is benign when it goes in, but your body converts it into formaldehyde. Now, how is that good for you? It's not.
I don't know.
You know,
well, there's a few other things when it comes to the food manufacturing companies that a lot of people don't even realize. So you wind up getting all these different brands, and you'll think, oh, well, this is the more expensive brand. They say it's so much better for you. You know, a lot of those brands are all made under the same manufacturer, and they're just labeled different. And I can give you a quick example. Trenton. I used to live in Trenton, New Jersey. The pork roll. That's where they were making all the pork roll. So they made Case's pork roll. They did Taylor ham pork roll, and then they had Trenton's Finest. Guess what? It's all produced in the exact same facility. It's just packaged differently and sent out to places. So people think like, oh, well, this one costs more. It must be better than this one. They're all exactly the same.
McCormick, if you go to Aldi, they use McCormick spices. It's just under another name. It's all McCormick, and it may be not the top ground stuff, but like what's left over or whatever, you know, there might be a little, but it's still McCormick.
That's
still
all it is.
Name brand.
Well, this is another thing. I have two things on here that are left for the show. I got five more things, but two of them have Elon Musk being interviewed, talking about a couple of things that I thought were very interesting. Joe Rogan cracks me up. I don't really trust this guy. One, because he voted for Bernie. Bernie Sanders. He voted for an open socialist. So
Damn, that's
he's
stupid.
rich. Okay, he's a rich man, so he can
I
do
don't
whatever he
give a-
wants. If you took half
stupid.
of Joe Rogan or Elon Musk's money, you took half their income, it doesn't change your lifestyle one bit. If you took half your income, what's going to happen to you?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I
I
get
know,
it, but
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
dumb.
People
And-
like that don't have to worry about the things that we normally worry about. Okay, they never will. For the rest of their lives, they'll never, unless something devastating happens and they lose everything. You know, that's the only way. But
Bernie is
you
a
know,
Marxist.
Beyonce, any of these people, you could take half of everything they have, and it won't affect their livelihood at all, the way they live their lifestyles. I'm not saying
But
they didn't
sure
deserve
as
the
hell
money.
act like they know, though, Jenna. I mean, how
Well,
many
yeah,
times have
I
you heard
know, but
freaking
what I'm
socialist
saying is,
Bernie? Oh, I understand the plight of the common man. No, you don't. How many mansions do you have? Shut the hell up.
yeah,
Right,
that's why I get sick of
exactly.
these people. But I like listening to them, especially when they talk about things to me
He's a
that make
Stalin
sense.
Marxist.
Yeah. So I do listen to some of these people and some of the things they
Stalinist.
say, and I look into it. But I just thought this was interesting. I want you guys to listen to this. It's only 3 minutes, but listen.
That's the nature of the scam. It's a bank shot. So then the rebuttal from the Dems is like, oh, well, the vast majority of the people who are marked as live in the Social Security Administration weren't receiving Social Security Administration payments. That is true. What they forgot to mention is they're getting fraudulent payments from every other government program. And that's why the Dems were so opposed to turning off, to declaring someone dead who was dead, because it would stop the entire all the other fraud from happening.
And so, but all this, is it trackable? Like all this other
Yeah.
fraud,
It's
if
totally
they wanted
trackable.
to, they could chase it all down.
Yeah, it's not even hard.
And yet they're opposing chasing it all down.
They're opposing chasing it all down because it turns off the money magnet for the illegals.
Wow.
Because it's very logical to like I'm saying the most common sense things possible. If someone's got a birthday in Social Security that is an impossible birthday, meaning they are older than the oldest living American or were born in the future, then you should call them and say, excuse me, we seem to have your birthday wrong, because it says that you're 200 years old. That's all you need to do.
And then you would remove them from the Social Security database and make that number no longer available for all those other government payments.
Exactly.
Wow. And how much money are we talking?
It's hundreds of billions of dollars.
And this is all traceable. Like you could hunt all this down.
Like you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes here, is what I'm saying.
Well,
we don't need to call Sherlock Holmes for this one.
Is this part of
the? We just need to call the person. And say, excuse me, we seem to have the we must have your birthday wrong because it says you're 200 years old or were born in the future. So could you tell us what your birthday is? That's all you need to do. It's that simple.
But all these other government payments that are available that are connected to this Social Security number, it seems like if you just chased that all down, you would find the widespread fraud. You would find where it's going.
Yes, but the root of the problem is the Social Security Administration database, because the Social Security number in the United States is used as a de facto national ID number. You know, that's why, like, the bank always asks for your social. So, like, any financial institution will ask for your Social Security number.
It sounds so insane that this isn't chased down. I mean,
I agree.
That in and of itself that's such mishandling.
Yes. No, it's my.
What's interesting about that interview to me is how nonchalant Elon is about it. You know, that's very simple for him to understand. And he doesn't understand why nobody's doing anything about it. And when he first went to Trump and was telling them, I want to help. I'm going to help you get some people to bring in here. And all we have to do is just sit down and go through the numbers. That's it. And what did he bring? The brightest people you could possibly think of, people that were going to be future accountants and all that different stuff. And that guy that just got beat up, Big Balls or whatever they were talking about it, because they all had these nicknames and stuff so that people wouldn't know who they were, to try to, because they were getting death threats and stuff. And so was Elon, all of them. But it's sad that it's that simple, because if you take, let's say you die, or let's say I died, okay, and my daughter takes my death certificate to the administration office to tell them that I died. So now they're supposed to take my social security number and remove it from the system. They're supposed to do a few things to prove that I'm dead, that number is no longer usable, right? Because I'm dead.
Especially for voting.
But what do? They don't. The crooked ones thought, hey, we got all these people's numbers and we can assign it to all these illegals or whatever, or use it multiple times. Let's say there's 10 people with my social security number. So as long as that number's in the system, they can get voters, they can get more money because of census, all that.
Exactly. They can change the land map of voting.
That's right. But it took time.
Who's to blame for it, though, Janet? Do you know who's to blame for this? Because originally, when the Social Security numbers were known, there's actually one person in particular is to blame for all this. So when you talk about Social Security and what Social Security numbers were originally meant to be, they were just for identification for wage earners so they can collect for Social Security for when they retire or if they become disabled. That's all it was originally intended to be. And if you had a Social Security number card early enough, it literally says on it, this is not to be used for ID. It's for Social Security Administration purposes only. Franklin Delano Roosevelt is the one that turned around and turned it into a form of ID. This is where this all starts. It's because of him and his ineptitude that we have all the problems that we have right now with Social Security numbers.
It's terrible. But the thing is, now that we know this, and each person that gets to listen to this and understand the fraud that goes along with all these old numbers that shouldn't even be out there because they should have been squashed, taken out of the system to help in the fraud. Now, there's always going to be thieves. There's always going to be liars. There's always going to be somebody out there trying to wheel and deal and make free money, right, off of other people's backs. But if most of us, 90% of us, are working hard to squash it, it's going to be harder and harder for them to get away with this. Only one time I've worked the polls, 70 different times at least since I was old enough to do it, in 2 different states, and only once have I gotten a card, an ID, which was someone's social security card one time. And they brought it in and said this was their ID. So we had to go through their records and brought a person over to look and all this stuff to look at the other stuff that they have signed. Well, their signature didn't match. And their ID didn't match. The number on their ID did not match. So they took the card, and when they did, they argued with the person. That person ran. They left. So they
you ought to have security right there, especially if they run. We're going to look into this further. What?
That was one person out of all the times that I've worked. So what I'm saying is, in the 2 states that I did this in was Louisiana and Arkansas, there wasn't as much of many people trying to scam the system. And plus the towns that I was in, I don't think it was a corrupt area. See what I mean? I think it was legit, because everybody I saw working, I never saw anyone else write on another person's ballot. That is illegal. Okay. We had one lady that made a mistake, and then you have to supposed to bring the judge over. The judge comes and looks. He will take that and initial it with his initials, a judge, an actual judge. Then we put it in an envelope, we seal it with red tape, and then we all put our initials on that thing. That's a spoiled ballot. Put it in the box, and then she got a new one. We gave her a new one. We had to go through the whole process again. So there's a process for all this, and if we do that, people won't be able to get away with cheating. But until we get people that want the truth, you want the real stuff to happen, enough of them to fight.
Elon's sitting there, he's going, it's easy. Here's the route. Do you cut it off the route? That's what I want to see happen. Real. I mean, if you want to find money in creative ways,
It's there.
It's there, absolutely, and make some of these people that took all this money that Doge exposed and give it back, or be held accountable for taking it.
This next story, I
Seize it.
was shocked. I watched it like 3 times because I just couldn't believe how easy it was and how it unfolded to get this to happen. But just think about this in Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, New York, California, Florida, every single state. Okay, this is happening. Okay, so
I'm going to put my thinking cap on for this one.
Yeah, so be ready. Now let's listen to this gentleman. Very, very smart. And I'm going to share this in the chat because I really think more people should see. I can't wait to play this for my sisters. I'm really excited about it, but here we go.
This really captures the silent strategy that is taking over cities now. Check this out.
Which 3 steps was immigrate, increase, eliminate. Immigrate as a religious refugee, increase the number of your followers and demand political accommodation, and then eliminate the previous culture. So I was speaking in Detroit area, and afterwards had people come up and visit around the book table, and they were telling me about a lady who had a ministry to pregnant mothers. So she shows up at a Muslim house, has a little present. Well, out of a bedroom comes another pregnant Muslim mom. Out of a bedroom comes another pregnant Muslim mom. Out of a bedroom comes another pregnant Muslim mom, all pregnant by the same man. He's practicing Sharia law in his house. And then someone else says, oh yeah, Faisal bought a bunch of houses on the street, has a wife in each one.
Where was this?
In Detroit area. The wives go down to the welfare office and say their husband's not around. He goes and visits them, and the more kids they have, the larger the checks get. And he's living like a king at state expense, and all the kids playing in the middle of the street are his children. He's practicing Sharia law on his block. They take over several more blocks, and they vote in the school board. And now they have their Sharia in the schools. And then they take over more blocks. They vote in the police department, fire department. And in Hamtramck, Detroit, they vote in the majority of the city council. They have their minarets, their calls to prayer 5 times a day, no different than Pakistan. So we see the first ones come in as immigrants, and they're nice, and they're so nice. Everybody says they're nice, nothing to fear, let more in, more come in. They gravitate together, form a community. Imam shows up and says, okay, you need to start getting a little more serious about this, more fundamental. Then the burqas start appearing. People say the neighborhood's changing. They move out. More Muslims move in. And then there's always that stickler that says, I refuse to move out. And that's when there's random violence from Muslim youth. And there's no witnesses, because no Muslim family dare testify against another Muslim family on behalf of some kafir infidel that's hanging in the neighborhood. And so eventually they take over the entire neighborhood. And they do this neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city, block by block, until they take over countries. And there's 1,400 years of track record to observe this pattern. So they took over Egypt, which used to be Coptic Christian. They took over Syria, which used to be Christian. They took over all of Turkey, which used to be Christian. Took over all of North Africa, which used to be. They took Spain, held it for 700 years until the Spaniards drove them out.
There you go.
Well,
That's
there
it
you
in a
go.
nutshell.
That is it.
Oh, yeah.
That is 100% what they do, and they have been doing it. But see, for some reason, we don't like looking into our past, into the history of our country, the mistakes that we've already made, and try not to make them again. You know what I mean? It's shocking to me how many people just go, well, I have someone living in my neighborhood and they're perfectly fine. I said, yeah, until their imam tells them it's time to it's a caliphate. It's time to take care of business. You will no longer be someone they can talk to or have anything to do with. They'll probably kill you. And I show them videos and stuff and show them a guy walking his dog, and they hate dogs. Dogs are unclean and horrible. They hate them. So they
they're
stabbed
called
that guy.
haram.
Yeah. They killed this guy. He was walking his dog in their little area of the street. This is in London though, but I'm just saying it's happening here. Like dads beating their daughters almost to death, or killing their kids because they won't marry who they want them to marry, or they're wearing the wrong clothes or whatever it is, because that's Sharia law. But the thing is, this one guy, I shared this video 50 times at least, showing people what's going on in London. This guy's walking his dog. It's on camera. There's cameras everywhere.
Stabbings are up.
Yeah, he got stabbed 40 times.
Wow.
But this one guy killed him, and then they killed the dog too. But they did it because he was walking a dog in their neighborhood, in their presence. And they come and they grab mothers and daughters together and beat the shit out of them and rape them and stuff. And they say, when they go to court, they just say, well, we're allowed to do that in our country. So they get a slap on the wrist. But what about the daughter and the mother? Where's their rights? That's what I'm talking about. We're becoming complacent to where, oh, well, we have to look the other way and treat them better. Why? They're not treating us better.
No.
They're not going to assimilate. So why should I? Right. Why should I put up with their shit?
What they did for centuries.
Church, I don't bother them.
What they tried to do for centuries by force, they're now doing through contrition. Rev says, yep, the link Janet posted doesn't show up on incognito chat even.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means, but I do want you to send me that link on X because I can't, I actually went through Foxfire and.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on private chat right here.
Well, that doesn't help me. You'll have to give it to me on X because I can't. It's complicated right now.
Here's something else. Here's something else that's pretty interesting, Janet. If you have a chance, you can take a look at it later. I sent you something over on Twitter. It really gives you the full breakdown about the whole Islam cult. How it was created 1,400 years ago from a warmonger. It's really interesting stuff to listen to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sharing this.
If more people just heard the history, maybe we wouldn't repeat it, especially young.
The thing is, the sad truth is, someone like me approaches someone in the wrong neighborhood that's liberal or whatever, and I give them some information. They're going to say, oh, it's AI, it's propaganda. Yeah. She's a Nazi.
40 years ago when I was in college, a big thing was they come over on visas, right? They get their education, they go back home. At the same time, they're grooming my high school graduate people, whatever, young people, right? Marry me, come over here, lap of luxury. No, they get them over there. Boom, you're in the culture, and you're not leaving.
Devil Flyer. Hey, buddy, Rex. I got you. I pulled the thing out to Janet and I sent it over here on Twitter.
Thank you.
I sent it over here on Twitter, so you're covered.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm sharing my Twitter link in the chat right now, and I'm gonna also share both of you guys' YouTube and Twitter links in the chat real quick.
You want my social security number? I'm just asking.
No.
No,
I am not interested. And that's another thing that people will call your house and say, oh, if you give me your social security number and this, that, and the other, and people do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that's, that's what I was telling somebody, even on this app or anything, if somebody sends me a link and I am suspicious of it, I'll just go to another app and I'll type it in. Because I don't click on links, and especially not in apps, because that's
the government right now needs to act like America is an 80-year-old woman. She ain't giving no milk. Okay, I'm sorry. Really, the tea is dried up. There's nothing for you. Come back 50 years from now, whatever. Maybe
that would be great. But the fact that our borders are closed right now, Trump was ecstatic. Right. That one thing saying not a single person got across the border. So I'm proud of that. But here is another interview that I wanted to share with you.
Wait, you just said two things. I got only two, and this is three. I was counting.
Oh, no.
So we got 3 minutes. Let's go for it.
How dare you use that racist myth? You're supposed to subtract. Haven't you learned anything?
This is my last thing I wanted to share, but I think it's really important. It's only a little bit long, but here we go.
Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave. So they know who the drug dealers are. They don't arrest them on purpose, because otherwise the drug zombies would leave, and they would stop getting money from the state of California and from all the charities.
Wait a minute. So you say
it's dark, man.
Is that real? So they're in coordination with law enforcement on this?
Yeah.
So how do they have those meetings?
They're all in cahoots.
Well, when you find this,
it's like such. This is a diabolical scam. And San Francisco has got this tax, this gross receipts tax, which it's not even on revenue; it's on all transactions, which is why Stripe and Square and a whole bunch of financial companies had to move out of San Francisco because it wasn't a tax on revenue, it's a tax on transactions. So if you do like, trillions of dollars transactions, not revenue, you're taxed on any money going through the system in San Francisco. Like Jack Dorsey pointed this out, and they said like, look, that they had to move Square from San Francisco to Oakland, I think. Stripe had to move from San Francisco to South San Francisco, a different city. And that money goes to the homeless industrial complex, that tax that was passed. So there's billions of dollars that go, as you pointed out, billions of dollars every year that go to these non-governmental organizations that are funded by the state. Like it's not clear how to turn this off. It's a self-licking ice cream cone situation. So they get this money. The money is proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies, essentially. So they try to keep that. They try to actually increase, because that like in some cases, like it's somebody did an analysis. When you add up all the money that's flowing, they're getting close to $1 million per homeless per drug zombie. It's like $900,000, something like some crazy amount of money is going to these organizations. So so they want to keep people just barely alive. They need to keep them in the area so they get the revenue. So that's why, like I said, they don't arrest the drug dealers, because otherwise the drug zombies would leave. But they don't want to have too much. If they get too much drugs, then they die. So they're kept in this sort of perpetual zone of being addicted, but just barely alive.
So how is this coordinated with like DAs
Yeah.
that don't prosecute people?
Yeah.
So when they hire or they push, so they fund the campaigns of the most progressive, most out there left-wing
Yeah.
DAs. They get them into office.
We've got that issue in Austin too, by the way.
Yes, we
Do you
do.
see that guy that got shot in the library?
No.
I
heard
a
about
guy
it.
got shot and killed in the library. I think that was just like last week or something.
Right.
So some friends of mine were telling me that like the library's unsafe. Like they took their kids to the library, and there were like dangerous people in the library in Austin. And I was like, dangerous people in the library? Like that's a strange. It basically got like drug zombies in the library.
Oh Jesus! And that's when someone got shot.
Yeah, I believe this should be on the news. We might be able to pull it up. But I think it was just in the last week or so that there was a shooting in the library in Austin. Because Austin's got, it's the most liberal part of Texas that we're in right here.
So, suspect involved in the shooting at Austin Park Library Saturday is accused of another shooting at the Cap Metro bus earlier that day. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, Austin police arrested Harold Newton Keene, 55, shortly after the shooting in the library, which occurred around noon. One person sustained non-life-threatening injuries in the event. Before that shooting, Keene was accused of shooting another person in a bus incident, and after reportedly pointing his gun at a child. So this is the fella down here.
So like we just seriously have a problem here.
Yeah.
So I think one of the people might have died too that he shot. Like one of the people I think did bleed out. But either way, it's like getting shot is still bad.
It says the victim told police it confronted the suspect who started to eat what appeared to be crystal methamphetamine. According to the affidavit, the victim advised the suspect began to trip out, at which time the victim exited the bus. Victim told the bus driver hit the panic button, then exited the bus. When he turned around, the observer, black male, was now standing at the front of the bus with the gun pointed at him. The victim advised the black male fired a single round which grazed his left hip. So he shot at that dude, and then another dude got shot in the library. Fun.
Yeah, I mean, in the library.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to be reading books. And there's a children's section in the library, and it says he pointed his gun at a kid. I mean, like we do have a serious issue in America where repeat violent offenders need to be incarcerated.
Right.
You got cases where somebody's been arrested like 47 times.
Right.
Like literally, okay, that's just the number of times they were arrested, not the number of times they did things. Like most of the times they do things, they're not arrested.
So lay this out for people so they understand how this happens.
Yeah, and the key is like this: it preys on people's empathy. So like, if you're a good person, you want good things to happen in the world. You're like, well, we should take care of people who, who are down in their luck or having a hard time in life, and we should. I agree. But what we shouldn't do is put people who are violent drug zombies in public places where they can hurt other people. And that is what we're doing, that we just saw, where a guy got shot in the library, and then but even before that he shot another guy and pointed his gun at a kid. Like that guy probably has like many prior arrests. There was that guy that knifed the Ukrainian woman Irina.
Yes. Yeah.
And she was just quietly on her phone, and he just came up and gutted her basically.
Wasn't there a crazy story about the judge who was involved, who had previously dealt with this person, was also invested in a rehabilitation center and was sending these
conflict of interest?
Yes. So sending people that they were charging to a rehabilitation center instead of putting them in jail, profiting from this rehabilitation center, letting them back out on the street.
Yes, and
violent, insane people.
And there, in that case, I believe that judge has no law degree or a significant legal experience that would allow them to be a judge. They were just made a judge. That's just like,
wow.
You could be a judge without a law degree?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could just be so I could be a judge?
Yeah.
Exciting.
Anyone.
That's crazy. I thought you'd have to. It's like if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to medical school. I thought if you're going to be a judge,
think, like,
you have
if you're
to understand the
going to be
law.
appointed to a judge, you have to have proven that you have an excellent knowledge of the law and that you will make your decisions according to the law. That's what we assume should be.
That's how you get the robe.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't get the robe unless you do.
Right.
Got
to go to school to get the robe.
You got to know what the law is.
Right.
And then you got to need to make decisions in accordance with the law.
Based on the stuff that you already know because you read it because you went to school for it.
Yes.
Not you just got appointed.
Not vibes. You can't be just vibing as a judge.
Vibing as a left-wing judge. So you got crazy left-wing DAs.
Yes.
Like I shouldn't say left-wing because the left-wing used to be normal.
Yeah, left-wing just meant like you're like
open-minded.
The left used to be like pro free speech.
Yeah.
And now they're against it.
It used to be like pro gay rights, pro women's right to choose, pro minorities, pro,
Like 20 years ago, I don't know. It used to be like left would be like the party of empathy or like, caring and being nice and that kind of thing. Not the party of like crushing dissent and crushing free speech. And crazy regulation and just and being super judgy and calling everyone a Nazi. Like I think they've called you and me Nazis.
I'm a Nazi. I think. I have friends that are comedians that called you a Nazi, and I got pissed off.
Are you serious?
Them. Oh yeah.
Like
he's
not
definitely
as a
Nazi.
joke.
No, because you did that thing at the. My heart goes out
like
to you.
Everyone
everyone, all of them,
literally.
Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, every one of them did it. They all did it.
How do you point at the crowd? Yeah. How do you wave at the crowd?
Do you know CNN was using a photo of me whenever I got in trouble during COVID?
Oh, man.
From the UFC weigh-ins. And if the UFC weigh-ins, I go, hey, everybody, welcome to the weigh-ins. And so they were getting me from the side. And that was the photo that they used. Conspiracy theorist podcaster Joe Rogan. Like, that's what they used.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to share. And the reason I wanted to share it was you saw what happened during that conversation. You took two guys that probably their whole life were liberals, right? Voted liberally, just like they said years ago, being liberal meant this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I don't remember liberals ever being that way. Okay. My whole life, it's always been the conservatives that wanted people to keep their money, smaller government, all that. At least that's what my parents always said. So that's what I always believed. And the Democrats were the ones that believed in big government, that they should control where you take your money, where you go to school, all that stuff. And that, if you wanted to live in somewhere like Russia or China, where the government, as soon as you're born, the government says this is what they're going to do when they grow up, that type of thing. But seeing Joe Rogan talking to another Democrat, basically, because you heard what he said, Kamala Harris, all them, he was hanging out with all them, and they were all saying bad stuff about Elon. So he hangs with them. Those are the kind of people he hangs with. He voted for Bernie Sanders.
I didn't take that as that. Well, I guess so. He said friends.
Yeah, if you just go back and just look at who he's friends with, what he does things with, that's how you know, and that's in the past. Okay, just like pictures are coming out with the you got Trump with all these Democrats at different functions, right? Donating to Democrats. Okay, so I'm not saying anything wrong about being a Democrat, but what I'm saying is to see this arc happen right in front of us about how they went from being buddy with all these liberals, and all of a sudden they're being called Nazis simply because they made a few changes in their life to try to get rid of corruption. That's all they're talking about. Getting rid of crooked people, and now they're the Nazis. So in a way, it's like been a learning lesson for the whole country. If your eyes are open, you're paying attention, and you unplug from the matrix for just a little while and look around and see what's going on, what reality is.
I ain't got to get out of my comfort zone. Oh.
Yeah, but then you find out the truth, and that's what's so funny to watch them. That's why I watch some of these. I told you I really don't like him that much. I don't know if I trust him or not, simply because if I could go in there and pull a lever for someone that I know is a communist and wants that for everyone, I just don't think I could ever trust him. I just won't. So I just stand back and watch people like that, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in his basket.
Well, what they call moderate Democrats or JFK Democrats, or even in the state here, we used to be all my life blue state Democrat. Drove me crazy. I was the only Republican in my household, always have been since Nixon. I don't know why. I just have. It made sense.
To me, it's common
and
sense.
You don't have that in the party. It's been radicalized, and it was bad enough to begin with. Tear down the Democratic history of the racism and the Jim Crow and all this. They were, at Madison Square Garden in the 1920s, the Ku Klux Klan was at their convention. It's crazy. They
have Hillary Clinton on a parade float in New York with one of the guys that used to be the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, and she said he's my mentor.
Was that guy Bird?
Yeah, Bird. That was his name. And he was like a congressman or a senator or something, but he was the
he was the Grand Kleagle.
Yeah, the Grand Poobah or whatever you call it.
And it's our own former governor Forbes, I think, here in Arkansas. And Clinton was buddy with him, and he was Ku Klux Klan.
I was telling people in Arkansas, they're going, I'm voting for the man with the plan, because they were saying they were voting for Bill Clinton. I'm like, why? I go, they hate black people. These people are racist as hell.
And the thing, one of the best things for the Ku Klux Klan was drying up on the vine in many states. In fact, I know one guy that came to Jesus that said they have dissolved their charter in Arkansas because lack of participation in this one area. But when you got Obama up there, and the anointing head, flows from the head down, he points it out and says the visionary, the great unifier, right, divides everything. You need to hate this because this person's white or this black or whatever. We were fine in the 80s and 90s, and now we've taken a step back thanks to the great unifier. He had such an opportunity and blew it.
Yeah,
and it was all by design.
Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they
wasn't even an American citizen. He was president.
They're just
That's
disgusting.
how bad things have gotten.
They're disgusting. I can't.
If you think Barack Obama was a citizen, you're
No,
deluded.
I don't
Well, what is that state? There was one that just came out pretty recently where this guy, I can't remember if it was a mayor or governor or whatever, this guy got elected to. He openly admitted he's not even an American citizen, that he's illegal. And prior to him getting voted in office, he had voted in a whole bunch of elections as an illegal, like coming right out and saying it. Like, and this is one of the gripes I have with some of the things going on with what they're doing with illegals. And why are we not cracking down on these people too? Why are we not getting rid of these people? They need to go, especially if they're holding offices in this country, because that is antithetical to the Constitution. That amounts to treason.
But yeah, exactly. But it's just kind of like that former conversation that she just played. There's strings. You pull on this string, it's attached here, here, and here. We can't have that because that's our voting block. It's a house of cards, and you start pulling on it, and it's all going to collapse. And they're not going to let that happen.
That's why they tried to kill Trump already a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because they knew that what he was going to do, because he told them what he was going to do. And they didn't want that. They're still trying to get rid of them. I really, really do believe that. But you two go ahead and tell everybody what's going on your channels and stuff before we leave.
Yeah, I'll let Tommy go first.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. And yes, I do have pigs, in case you're going to ask. That question does still come up to this day. Basically, what I do is I do a lot of toy reviews. I have like little battle bots with the Hexbug battle bot fights. And of course, we got the guinea pigs. The guinea pigs take front and center in almost everything I do. Every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on my channel and my buddy Vinny Arts, we do a big toy show where we talk about some of the latest things that we picked up, and we give you honest reviews of them. We don't give you the watered down version that some people get when they actually get product for free for some of these companies. Though we give you an honest review of whether or not it's worth it and what we think it should be rated at. And we just have a lot of fun while everybody else is usually miserable watching shows they can't stand and stuff like that. But yeah, if you haven't, remember, subscribe to everybody on the panel. It's not going to cost you a thing. Thank you for being here. You could have spent your time anywhere. Remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not think, because your silence, compliance gives consent. Thank you, Janet, and thank you, Rex.
I am skeptical. That sounds rehearsed. He's got that down pat. And don't call me James. Anyway, yes. I cover a little bit of everything. We got kind of a variety show daily on YouTube at 4 Central, called the 4 o'clock shadow. We've done over 1,280. We're approaching 1,300 episodes. It racks up after a while, when you do it daily. Yay! I just turned 60 and I'm off my chain, and off my meds probably. Anyway, we just got in today printed cards for the campaign. Got a campaign up on Fund My Comic right now. Devil Flyer, go check it out. It's a variety of stuff. I've got new art that will be dropping and available to buy on the campaign here pretty soon. Just have to get it up there. Some mine, some Ryan James here, others. Just having fun daily on YouTube. And I wish we would hold people accountable for their actions, definitely. If we would do that and be more self-reliant, we'll make it through it. But it starts at a local level. Local and states about all we have, and it's going to take convention of states. Congress is not going to finish. I feel like Congress is not capable of fixing itself. And a lot of it's the string thing, just like you were saying. It's going to take a convention of states, and that's possible. If local people demand it in their states, and we've already got some states on board with that, we could turn this boat around. But even then, we're going to have to do damage control and be bailing water at the same time. It's going to take a long time. It took us a century or over a century to get into this mess. It won't be our lifetimes when we see it fixed, if ever.
But we're starting.
But the solution starts today. Absolutely. Yeah, all God gives us is now. He's the God of now.
That's right.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for joining me. And tomorrow I'll be playing. It's like Pathfinder on Bruce's channel with our higher players. I guess I'm new to it. I'm not as good as some of the other ones, but it's a dice. We roll the dice and we do all the stuff. So it's fun. We'll be playing that tomorrow all day live. And then Sunday, Bruce and I are going to be reviewing the movie Deception. I can't remember I think it's Ian McGregor and Hugh Jackman movie. I've never seen it. So if you want to watch the movie, you can join me on Discord, on my Discord, and we'll watch the movie and then we'll do the review afterward. So that's why people don't realize when I get dressed up in whatever costume, I'm wearing it through the whole movie and then wearing it to whenever I get done. Like when I was Lucy with the vampire teeth and all that a couple weeks ago. So it's just, I have to wear it for a long time because of the way it's set up now, the way we do it. But that'll be fun. So if you want to watch the movie, let me know. And we usually start around 12:30 on Sunday afternoon. So just let me know. Send me a message, and I'll send you a link, and you come watch it with us. It's a lot of fun, and get a movie out of it.
Yeah,
hopefully good.
I've watched the movie on Discord before. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and I enjoy playing. Oh, that's right, Nerdy Org. He's on one of the games with me. I play a game with him on a Saturday, every other Saturday. So it's fun, and Bruce is our GM.
So you're probably not going to ever be available to be on Rex, Hex, and Apex, right?
No, I told you I have to do it before 12:30 because we start the game at 12:30. So I could join you.
Okay. Oh, we could do that then. 11 to
a
little bit before 12:30. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, just
but
let
you're
me know.
mine. You're mine. You're not Apex's. So that'll be February. That'll come in February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun, but that's what I like to do. I'm a nerd.
So if Hex and Apex ask you, just turn them down. No, I'm gonna do it.
But my Saturdays are, and on Monday nights now I'm playing 2 games now with Bear, the Gen X GM. I'm playing 2 of his games. One of them is the superhero one, and we're about to start a new one that he's writing. So cool. Monday night. So we'll see how this goes.
I'm so behind on my movies, but I've been trying to get caught up. I'm going to watch Eternals with a friend tomorrow.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. You guys
3-hour movie. I hope it's decent.
Well, I hope it's good. I've watched some real stinkers with
yeah.
But
the Pix says no to the new movies, and I just go back and I watch old shows like Barney Miller. I'm stuck in the past. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm with you on that, Tommy. I mean, I've just went through all 20 episodes of, 20 seasons of Gunsmoke. Absolutely. I physical copies and watching the old stuff. It's the best.
Yeah.
But as long as my friend offers, it's a good time with him. We eat popcorn. We watch a movie. He bought the DVD or Blu-ray. I didn't, so I get to see it for free. Hey.
Well, one of my favorite shows to watch when I get bored and have nothing to do is I love Futurama. That's my favorite.
Oh, there you go.
I love that show. So
I got
good.
one of the seasons of that. Yeah.
I would love to dress up as Leela if I could figure out how to do one eye. You know what I mean? That'd be great. I just love that show. It's so much
fun.
Come
here. I'll poke the other one out, and then you can be.
Yeah, but it's got to be in the middle of my forehead. It won't do any good if it's one eye.
Well, the guy that could have helped you with that left early. So.
Oh yeah, well, he didn't feel good, but
yeah.
Thank you, everyone who showed up and hung out with us in the chat. I really, really appreciate it on X, Rumble, and YouTube. From what I could tell. Oh, it looks like somebody's doing Facebook. So on Facebook too. I hope you did really good over there. But thank you all, and you guys have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you guys later.
Oh, you too. It's already here. Woo!
Bye, everybody.